then Bill Clinton has these voices that he's going to be bigger than John F. Kennedy. Bill Clinton has a lot of voices that are telling him he needs to save the world by destroying the world. And who does Obama, Obama does a speech, and here's Bill Clinton speaking for Obama. And then there's Hillary Clinton that, Julian Assange is telling a few secrets. We need to kill him. Who is the psychopath? Who are the crazy people? The ones that are on the bottom, that are the end result of this level of psychopath behavior going on? This is evidence that our leaders are turning our societies into the crazy people that you want to see. There is a cause. And this guy is probably, this young kid going to school, seeing this bigger picture, not finding the language that any professional is willing to listen to. They'd rather call you a conspiracy theorist, or, you're crazy, you're mentally ill, but we're not labeling the true mental illness. This doctor should be recognizing that it is our leaders that we do influence. How come this medical professional doesn't know that our environment very much does have an effect on your behaviors? This medical doctor sounds like he's a little crazy not to see this pattern being repeated and taking responsibility and accountability for it. He is perpetuating the mental illness, not part of the cure. That's why I don't trust doctors. They're all friggin' insane. Check it out.
Who was treating someone who killed him. I mean, here's a man who is an expert in this, who was alone with a patient who clearly was very dangerous and must not have known.
I think that underscores there's good news and bad news here in terms of our ability to understand. We do have some knowledge. We know there are risk factors. We know that substance use contributes to risk. We also know that there are additional experiences, people who've been victims of violence, people who are homeless. There are risk factors. But in the end...
Okay, I love this one. There are risk factors. Homelessness, poverty. Yeah, let's just see. If we're all equal and you had a house, you had a job, you worked really hard for everything that you experience in your life, and somebody just steals that away from you and leaves you homeless. Somebody takes away your opportunity to have food and shelter. You can't even get a job to get food and shelter, and the only way you can get any of that is by having a job. And let's take a look at our economic systems. How many people have lost everything because of some criminals in our banking system? Oh, they've been left homeless. Crime is a factor. And that's one of the stressors. So, yeah, the government is definitely very much in control of the financial systems. They are very much in control of what happened with BP Oil, who is going to make millions of people really, really sick because they are psychopaths and don't know how to make an economic system work so everybody's actually healthy and not losing their stuff. They don't know how to solve that problem. All they know is war and killing because they're psychopaths. They make money off killing you and creating more psychopaths so that they have a reason to keep killing people and not own up to their responsibility and accountability. While these doctors want to say we need to be responsible, we need to be accountable for our own actions, where is the accountability of our leaders, of our financial institutions, of our medical systems, of any protection agency that's supposed to approve of whether something is safe or not? Monsanto's, how the hell are they improving such a large corporation now owning and dominating our food industry? So, yeah, when you take away everybody's ability to feed themselves, people start to get a little bit dangerous. I don't think that that's rocket science, but it is a factor. And, the more the government wants to not solve this problem, when there are clear solutions. I haven't seen anybody talk about clear solutions. What is a better medical system? I'm offering one. You can get the links in my private playlist, or order the books, holodynamics.com. I happen to be a huge fan of this guy. He'll explain what's wrong with all of the systems and what it takes to fix them. But we're so caught up in the problem that we haven't gone into that problem, discovered what's wrong, and come out into the solution. But we need to start diagnosing mental illness and getting some help for these people that are lacking it before they destroy the whole friggin' planet. And we as a society can't fall into their labeling. When you get mad and angry, you will be labeled having an anger management problem. Yet losing your home and your ability to feed your families is a damn good reason to be pissed off. When the religious people or the government system takes your kids away, it's only natural for you to get pissed off, especially when it's unjustified. When police stop you for no good reason because they assume what's going on and lack information, and they're trained to be paranoid about everything. I mean, I've talked with the police, and that's what they tell me they get trained, is to be paranoid about everything. So while being paranoid, they see things that aren't really there, and they're also killing people when they're supposed to be protecting us. The whole system is so friggin' screwed up that you've got to understand the people that are the most insane. Your medical profession is coming up with labels of normal human behavior and making normal human behavior appear totally insane. And it's not. It's normal human behavior. You want to make somebody have nothing left to lose but to stop you at all costs, expect that behavior to happen. It's not mental illness. It should be predicted. And it has a cause. And if you don't want to see that predicted behavior, stop the causes that create that behavior. What is the cause? The cause is the mental illness within our leaders, within our corporate world. Stop buying from them. Stop it, earning your living, investing in them. Break the friggin' cycle by not falling into their labels that they will be happy to label you so that they can, profit off of the medication they're going to convince you need, and jump into a system of all of the solutions. The universe is waiting. There's a lot of jobs just waiting. We all need the opportunity. The best way to get things going is the barter system. Take it out of the hands of these professionals and start being friends with your neighbor and helping your neighbor out. They can't tax you on that, and the flow of energy is still there. Everything we've got to survive is still there. It's just under their control, and we have the power to take it out of our control as long as we remain sane. Sane is having a good picture, outcome, and actually following through on it. Chances are, if you've got advice for everybody else, follow your own advice and you'll be sane. But if you think the world will only function if you give everybody else advice and you can't follow your own advice, chances are you're insane and you need to check yourself. I'll continue on.
And it is impossible to predict with 100% certainty. And so what one needs to do, in addition to recognizing risk factors, is talk to the person, if you can, and communicate and try to get a fuller understanding of how they see things and what their intent might be.
This is a pretty fine line here. You all are experts in this field. If you are a parent, if you are a classmate, we have classmates saying, oh, I thought he was scary. What does a layman look for if you think this person's in trouble and you're about to take a step that maybe would be to report this person? You got to have something to go by. So how does anyone watching think, okay, this has crossed the line?
I think most lay people have a great deal of trouble understanding enough about the disease to be able to make that assessment. I think partly you have to make it on your gut, and partly you have to make it by getting as much information as you can from family, from other people. I think the example in Tucson is a good example where a series of people had some of the information, but nobody had all of it put together. When you put it all together, today we can see, yes, this young man not only clearly had schizophrenia, but he was also potentially dangerous. But at the time, nobody made the effort to gather all the information and put it together.
And so, are you then arguing that it's almost impossible to stop this sort of thing?
I think that the way I would look at this is, if you are a person, you have a classmate or a student or a friend, you shouldn't hesitate to seek help and not feel that you have to be the one to make the decision. I think if the mistake that people make is to think that they have to know that this person is dangerous. What I think our obligation to ourselves and to our community is to ask and to seek help. And our obligation as, say, a mental health system and as school teachers and as heads of institutions is to try to make it safe to ask.
Did you?
Okay, I like that statement. Make it safe to ask. Well, first of all, I've been trying to report abuse for 9 years. I tried to escape from it. And there's a long list of phone numbers that are out there that claim to be wanting to help, but there's not one agency. There's not one court. There's nothing out there that wants to stop people that are criminals and they show signs of mental illness. I've had that in my own experience. Hell, half the judges I've seen are acting and behaving totally mentally ill. The police I've talked to act totally mentally ill, like the whole system. That's why I've had to do so much study and research to see, because they're all friggin' blaming me, and it's like, well, at the end of the day, it's the people that were labeling me that were more mentally ill than I am, and I had to get a hell of a lot of evidence to prove that. Now that I got proof, is it safe for me to report who's acting a little insane? Let's look at the how do you diagnose? What is the behaviors? And then how do you report it? They're on the friggin' news saying that we should report it. So does that mean, look at the behaviors, look at everything that these people on the media are saying, these behaviors and the description, and that you should report it. Now go and take that advice and look at your representatives. Look at these CEOs. See if they match the behavior, and then try and find some place to report it, because they are not safe. They create wars where there are no wars, just in the name of oil. Let's see how good that advice is, because I don't think the system actually supports that advice for within our communities or within our those that are controlling the system. It ain't as easy as what they're saying, but they're just talking as if, oh, it's easy to do the right thing. No, it's not. It's the only reason I got this channel is because that's a full pile of crap. And I've had to do an awful lot of research to back up every single thing that I'm stating, and I would even challenge anybody to a debate on my education level and who's sane and who isn't sane. This is insane. To not look at how our leaders are acting, to not say that this is expected and it will increase and it has a cause, and the cause is how our leaders are running the country. And until this problem is solved, this is just going to increase. My prediction, let's see how wrong I am. I'll continue.
When you were watching this unfold, Dr. Troy, did you see a piece of information that came across you thought, that's the sign?
Oh, absolutely.
And what was it?
Absolutely. This young man had a very pronounced thought disorder. There's very few other conditions other than schizophrenia that give you the loose, rambling, illogical thinking that he was described as having, and apparently on his YouTube. This is very characteristic of schizophrenia. Also, the delusions that somebody is trying to control your mind, and also the bizarre delusions that somehow the government was trying to control his mind by grammar. That's what we call, at least to me, is a bizarre delusion. Almost no other condition do you have these kinds of symptoms on it. So that really, within the first day of what I was listening to, I've seen several hundred people with this disease, and he just fit a textbook case.